Wonderful, thank you very much. My name is Jonas. I'm one of the co-founders from Trustami. Today with me is Thorsten, my CTO. We don't have a presentation. I will give you a short introduction about Trustami and then we show you our product. So when we founded Trustami, our goal was and is still to build trust on the internet. We are offering everyone who wants it an online ID that can be trusted and is owned by himself. So we believe in the future the reputation systems and the online ID systems are decentralized and not controlled by a single authority or a company like us. So what we do is, by using the Bitcoin technology stack or the Bitcoin technology, we're able to provide the user the possibility to create his very own online ID. To this online ID, the users are able to connect every reputation on the internet he gained so far. For example, ratings on eBay, on Amazon and Airbnb, and can connect these reputation to his online ID, as well as some verification information about his name, his address, or some passport verification, whatever. So our goal is to make it possible that the user only has to do this process of verification or collecting his reputation only once at a single place he controls. We think it's time that trust belongs to the user and not to one single authority. So that's more or less about Trustami. So here's our starting screen. When we started, our goal was not to be the next platform or the next player where the user creates data and this data is stuck to our platform. So first of all, we decided not to make it possible to log in via email. We only provided the possibility to log in via the normal social media connections. Later, we recognized, or the people told us that they sometimes want to sign in with an email address and don't really want to start or to try a product by using their Facebook account. So we added this, but our goal is still that they only can collect the data from some other places. So for example, we show you our demo user, and when you log into Trustami, you have the possibility to choose between several networks, connect these networks and gain the reputation or the data from it. Then you have the main profile where you can control and switch between the public and the private view. For example, here you see the picture of it, the name, the networks the person connected, and if the data was sufficient enough, we also could verify the ID of this person. Also, you get a rank which consists or is derived from the ratings and the commentaries this person collected on the other networks. So here you see the several identity features we could collect from the networks, and important is that we never show the direct information, so you will never see the telephone number, you only see the information on the top level, for example, that the address on a bank account is verified. And the person can switch between showing or hiding this information. The same goes for the rating networks the person connected, and as well the profile pictures and the name. These informations couldn't be uploaded. These informations came directly from the networks the person connected. The next thing is to use this information or this type of trust ID. We're offering several opportunities. One thing is that we are partnering with several platforms. One platform is Hood.de, it's a German or the third largest German marketplace after eBay and Amazon. There, when a user is registered at our place and want to use his reputation on Hood, for example, we have here a seller who is selling art and doesn't really have reputation or some ratings on this platform. With our widget or with our Trust ID, when you scroll down a little bit, this is integrated. The user can show his reputation and the ratings he already earned on another platform like eBay or Amazon. And when the user now wants to know a little bit more, he can click on it and can see the detailed profile. And you see here are the information the user decided to show for the public. That's more or less it. I think all the technology stuff will be handled by my CTO. And we're happy to ask your to answer your questions, not to ask your questions. Thank you very much.
Hello. I'm sure this would be quite a technical answer, but could you perhaps elaborate a little bit on how this relates, or how this kind of follows the idea of Bitcoin technology and how your profile is decentralized?
Yes, of course.
Okay, the problem is that we started with a centralized version where all the data are stored on our servers, and a new user which have a look at this card is not sure if we changed the data and things like that. So we decided to move to the blockchain in order to have something like a list which you can't change. So we use hashing technology to hash the profile information, the different ratings and so on, and put these hashes, this value hash, in the blockchain in order to prove that this information is not changed in any way. Did this addresses your question?
So maybe I add a little bit. The blockchain basically assists to transfer bitcoins, and there are transactions. And what it's possible that you add additionally information to a transaction which is stored on the blockchain, the Bitcoin technology. So what really is interesting is that when you have information you want to store there persistently, and that can't be afterwards changed. You can add, for example, a hash of some information you verified to a transaction, and this transaction then goes to the blockchain, and after a few hours or after 10 minutes, normally one block is solved, then you have this information at a specific time that is proved by the blockchain technology that this information exists. The other, or a big problem or a task or challenge there is the garbage in problem. So for example, the blockchain doesn't really verify the information you attach to it. So it's necessary that you verify or you know exactly what information you put on the blockchain. And to get back to why this is decentralized or owned by the user gets a private key, and only with this private key and the commitment of the user we are able to put something on his blockchain ID. So that is in this step where we aren't able to add something or change something without that the user can or has to commit to this.
Okay, thank you very much.
This is your opportunity to ask the last question of the day. Feel the pressure.
Oh, there.
Are you storing only the hashes or also the data in the blockchain?
No, it's very limited what you can store there, so it's only the hash of the information, and it's also very, you have to think carefully what information you want or what hashed information you want put there, because every transaction or every storing on the blockchain you have to pay transaction fees. So normally you don't really put every minute or hour some new information in it. So you think about a profile with reputations, every month maybe you store or save there, and then you have this safe and tamper-proof data hash which you can use later if you want to show it. Or this data is, for example, stored locally by the user itself. And the user can later go somewhere and say, okay, here's my data, and another company like ours or some other company verified this data and said, okay, we loaded this with the commitment of the user to the blockchain, and the user is not dependent or relying on this company later. He can go with this data and say, okay, look at this blockchain entry. This data I'm presenting to you is assured 2 years ago, whatever, that this is the same data entry and I haven't edited or changed it afterwards.
Cool. Thank you so much.